Please join me today as we explore the Shepaug Valley Railroad and this abandoned tunnel. Steep Rock Preserve is located in Washington, Connecticut, and this small village of Washington Depot is located 1.5 miles north of the preserve. The station here was built in 1895, replacing the original one erected in 1872. It's now home to the American Legion Post number 87. Today we will explore the abandoned right-of-way of the Shepaug Valley Railroad located in the Steep Rock Preserve. We will start from the parking lot on Tunnel Road in Washington Depot, Connecticut. First we cross the Shepaug River on Tunnel Road to reach the right-of-way, which at this point is on the west side of the river. Heading south, the right-of-way follows the river for about a mile before reaching the bridge abutments for a railroad bridge that has been removed. In the summer it may be possible to ford the river, but this is not an option in January, so we will turn around and head back to Tunnel Road. Almost back to where we started, we will continue south on Tunnel Road. This time we are on the east side of the Shepaug River. In a mile, we will rejoin the right-of-way opposite of where we turned around before. From here, we will follow the right-of-way for about another mile, paralleling Tunnel Road until we reach the 235-foot railroad tunnel. Continuing for another quarter mile or so past the tunnel, we will come to the south end of Steep Rock Preserve. There we will turn around and return to the parking lot. The total distance of this ride will be about 6.5 miles. The railroad bed stops and actually runs across the Shepaug River here. And you could tell from the surface that it goes down more into a normal hiking trail. Bikes aren't allowed to go past the end of the railroad right away, so we'll have to turn around here. But you can see some remnants here of some granite blocks that would have indicated there was a bridge here where the railroad crossed the Shepaug River from the west side to the east side. We're standing here in the banks of the Shepaug River. And it's at this point here where the Shepaug Valley Railroad crossed. Diagonally crossed here and went straight across the river. You can see on the other side of the river, you can see a granite pier just coming out of the water. I would say the water level is pretty high right here now. And in fact, if you look here on this side of the bank, right there, you can see the other granite pier. So there was a bridge that went across here. Alright, so now we are on Tunnel Road, which is on the east side of the Shepaug River. And we just finished coming back on the opposite side. Across the river you can see the railroad right away where we rode earlier. The bridge abutments here mark the location of Valley Station flag stop. This flag stop was established in 1893 to serve the Holiday House, a vacation home for poor underprivileged girls from New York City. Guests walked across the 80-foot-long suspension bridge here where a carriage would bring them up to the hillside resort. The ornate bridge was designed by John A. Roebling, who was the chief engineer for the Brooklyn Bridge. Ruins of the hotel can be reached via a short hike from the parking lot, Bikes are not allowed on that trail.
Here we can see one of the screws for the suspension bridge.
On our right is the Shepaug River. Shepaug is a Mohican name that means rocky water. Here we can see the railroad cross the Shepaug River and Tunnel Road.
We are standing here on the east bank of the Shepaug River, and you can see here in the lower left-hand corner of the screen is one of the abutments, or the east abutment for the bridge here across the Shepaug River. And if we look straight across, we can see where we were standing earlier. You can see a large chunk of granite there. Where that barricade is, that is the Shepaug Valley Railroad.
Railroad valuation maps indicate there was a short single-lead siding here on the left.
We were standing in front of the Shepaug Valley Railroad tunnel built in 1872. This curved tunnel is 235 feet long. That's why it's difficult to see daylight through it, because it's built on a curve. It avoids a very sharp bend called the clamshell on the Shepaug River.
This railroad tunnel was constructed from 1871 to 1872 as part of the Shepaug Valley Railroad. A crew of coal miners from Pennsylvania built a 235-foot curved tunnel by hand using picks, dynamite, and nitroglycerin to blast through steep rock ridge. It took them only 9 months to complete, a remarkably quick project in those days. The Shepaug Railroad was said to have between 150 to 200 curves as it traveled the 32 miles from Hawleyville to Litchfield. The distance between the two locations is only 17 miles as the crow flies. Reinforced concrete box culverts like this one were common on the Shepaug Valley Railroad.
We've reached the end of the rail trail section here. Actually, this is the end of the Steep Rock Preserve property. The yellow trail, which is also the rail trail, takes a steep turn to our left and it doubles back over the hill. So if you are hiking this, you can continue on the yellow trail, but bicycles are not allowed on the yellow trail beyond this point. So we're going to head back the way we came.
If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. As always, thanks for joining me.